How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. Today I am here with Russ, owner of Griffin Fitness Studios, and he is a personal trainer located here on the Central Coast. So welcome. We're going to get to know Russ a little bit more today.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's an honor to be able to be on your podcast and have a little chat with you.
Cool. So for anybody who doesn't know who you are, doesn't follow you on social media, they can find you at...
We're Griffin Fitness _SM, and that's my business account. I also have a personal account, El Jefe DeLeon at Instagram. So either one's fine.
Cool, awesome. So tell me a little bit, like, how'd you get started into fitness? Like, before the studio, before personal training, what was your sort of intro or introduction into lifting weights and living a healthy lifestyle?
Sure. You know, growing up, I was the skinny kid. So I was the guy that was very thin, very lean, and had to layer my clothes. So I kind of hid behind that.
Yeah.
I put layers of clothes so that I would feel comfortable and no one would notice like how thin I was. And some people can relate to that, but some people, you know, it's...
I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite for anybody who knows me.
So that was a battle in my mind of, being too thin. So, over time, I would kind of hide behind my clothes a little bit or, not let people see exactly how I looked. I would say one big thing that happened to me when I was probably about 18 years old was I was going down to my garage. I lived in a 2-story, going to go get something at night from the garage, and someone approached me and they jumped me.
Really?
Yes. So it was one of the scariest moments of my life. A complete stranger coming off the street.
Yeah.
Looked intimidating. They looked like they just did 1,000 push-ups, walked straight out of San Quentin,
Wow.
and walked into my garage. So
that is really scary.
A very intimidating person came up, asked me for money. They wanted my vehicle, and all I could do was run. And I couldn't protect myself. I couldn't protect my family. And that was one of the most fearful things that I'd ever faced because you're without control. You have no control. And that really put me in a point where I'm like, I cannot let that ever happen to me again.
Yeah.
And so I would look to people that I thought were strong, and a lot of them were in the fitness. They lifted weights. They were strong. So maybe they could prevent something bad from happening or even protect their families if something did.
Yeah, because like a lot of people, they might turn to things like martial arts, but even just gaining any sense of physical strength also does provide a sense of confidence and self-confidence.
Absolutely. And that's what kind of started me, the mindset that I wanted to be stronger and not ever feel intimidated, weak, or fearful of that type of situation. So I did get into exercising, lifting a little bit of weights, and that kind of started the journey from there. And it's really evolved over time. You gain knowledge, you gain a love for exercise.
Yeah.
And then I've really always been like a people person, someone who enjoys helping other people. And I feel like fitness combines the best of both, being a personal trainer, helping people see them transform, and then just being in the fitness industry, exercise, those type of things, putting them both together, it's the best of both worlds for me.
Definitely.
So I really enjoy the job that I'm at right now.
And so, yeah, I can definitely agree with that. And when you mentioned that you first started out, you were 18 when this had happened to you, where did you then start? I mean, when I first got into it, I was heavy into YouTube and looking into any information that I could. I didn't really have that person that I could turn to. And being somewhat introverted, I didn't have people that I could just approach and just ask like, hey, what are you doing? Or how do I do this lift? So where did you gain your initial knowledge?
I would say a lot of it was trial and error. You learn a lot that way over time. But I would have magazine subscriptions to fitness articles, magazines, any books that I could get my hands on. I was always looking through those or reading on what some of the fitness professionals were doing, and trying to emulate that in my routine. Since then, I've kind of seen how some of those routines were probably not the best for me at that time.
Yeah.
A natural bodybuilder versus somebody who's taking anabolic steroids, or somebody who's able to dedicate hours to the gym versus, a busy schedule.
Yeah, definitely. Because not everybody out there is I would say, sponsored athlete.
Exactly.
So we don't really have that 8-hour day to put into the gym. Our 8 hours are our 9 to 5 job. And then we have maybe 1 hour to dedicate to the gym. So definitely learning how to cut down that and hone your own workout routine is something that you learned early on then.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like there were workout partners that I've worked with over the years that I've taken a little bit from and learned. And then with social media right now, there's a lot of information out there, which is good. I think there's a lot of good, and then there's a lot of information out there that you kind of have to sort through.
Yeah.
Because some of them are just more interested in selling you a product.
Yeah.
And I feel at a younger age, I may have gotten caught up, thinking I needed this supplement. I needed, X amount of creatine, protein powders in order to get where I needed to be. But just learning the fundamentals. And that's really, what has served me the best is going to the fundamentals, like your compound lifts, your squats, your lunges, your deadlifts, your pressing and your pulling exercises, and then just having a balanced nutritional approach, something that you can sustain and keep with long term to match your fitness goals. And that's really what I encourage, is a balanced approach with all my clients. I'm not a person that pushes supplements on them. If that's something that they like or they want to do, I'll kind of narrow it down and say, try this, try some creatine.
Yeah.
Or if you're missing fish in your diet, let's try some fish oil.
Yeah. Not everybody enjoys fish.
No. Or even the burps on the fish oil. Those can be rough.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, basic multivitamin. If there's nutritional gaps, sometimes that can help you out and fill the need there. But the basic fundamentals of a balanced nutritional approach, being consistent in the gym, being persistent, and really those two things have kind of helped me to get where I am. Definitely not the strongest person in the gym, not the fastest, not the most talented, but tell you what, I'm going to be persistent. I'm going to be the most consistent, and I'm going to be there day in and day out. And over time, it's helped me to get where I want to be as far as fitness and other things in life too.
And that's something that I can agree with as well. I know that second time around for me, my first time in the gym, I dedicated a lot of time to trying to get really, really strong, lift as heavy as I could. I was dedicating a lot more time by putting in maybe an hour or 2 hours at a time at the gym, whereas now my time is really limited. Like I don't have all the time in the world now. I have a little one that I have to get home to. So that 1 hour is the time that I have to dedicate to lifting.
Yeah.
And being a little bit more humble with this approach and knowing that it's definitely a marathon and it's not a race. There's a lot of people out there, they may want to be the types that I want to get fit and shredded in like 20 weeks. Whereas think about 5 years down the road, where do you want to be? And so do you encourage a lot of your clients to think more long-term rather than short? How do you sort of deal with that when somebody's like, I need to get from A to B and then I could care less about the end goal?
I do have clients, like for instance, I think of wedding season coming up, and bridesmaids or brides themselves, they really want to get in shape.
No grooms?
A couple, yeah.
Okay.
They're working on a deadline, which is nice to have.
Yeah.
But again, during that process, I'll preach to them the long-term approach to maintain their level of fitness.
Yeah.
So there's some things that we can take, a little bit more extreme measures as far as on the nutritional side to get where you want to be for the short term, but thinking, okay, how are you going to maintain this long term? Have that thought process already, plant that seed for them, knowing like the current exercise or nutritional program that you're doing, is it something that you can maintain 6 months from now?
Yes.
Or is it so extreme that you feel like at any moment you're going to binge?
Yeah.
That will tell you, okay, maybe it's too extreme.
Yeah.
We need to do small substitutions over a period of time that you can live with and that are not too extreme.
Yeah.
6 months from now, a year from now, is it something that you can maintain and make it your lifestyle? So I really try to attract people with that mindset. And there are ones who want to, do like a 3-month, let's shred down. Okay, well, let's, tweak your carbs. Let's play with your macronutrients.
Yeah.
In order to do that.
And it is possible. I'm
is.
sure it is possible, but that's tough. That's a tough 3 months.
It is. And it's a mindset that you really have to be, ready for because you don't want a big rebound.
Yeah.
And that would be very discouraging because when you lose the weight, you want to lose it once and be done with it. You don't want to have to go through the process over and over, and because it's really hard, mentally and emotionally.
Oh, yeah.
In order to do, the ups and downs. And so having that mindset of, making progress, maintain it, make a little more progress, maintain it, and then just seeing how your body responds and enjoying the process. It's kind of cliche, but
yeah, you have to enjoy it and you definitely have to trust it. And I like what you said there about thinking about the long term and how it can be sort of an up and down thing. You don't want to rebound. In your lifting and your fitness career, have there been any points where, I can't say because you mentioned that you were always a smaller guy.
Yes.
But have there been points where you just stepped away and then you lost all that strength? Because for me, the example would be I slimmed down and then I gained weight and now I have to slim down again. So for you, you gained this muscle, you gained this physique.
Sure.
Did you lose it? And then you had to work back for it? Was there ever a point in your lifting career where that happened?
I would say a couple things that I've faced or challenges in my lifting career would be more like mental, emotional struggles that I had gone through. There was a period in my life where I had lost my job, I lost my home that I was living with, and got divorced. And this all happened within, about a year period. All these major life-changing events took place. And
those can be major things to just get you to hit rock bottom. And
yes. And so there were times where I just kind of went through the motions of exercising, but my heart maybe wasn't really in it, but it was part of my routine, and it kind of gave me the therapy, the mental sanity to help me get through those things. It was the one consistent thing in my life. So, using exercise along with, I think for me, being spiritually grounded, that was another element that was important to get me through the challenges that I faced. I think from a lifting perspective, I've had major injuries. I've torn my calf where I was on crutches.
Whoa.
Trying to be a weekend basketball player.
Wow.
I was like the good old Forrest Gump where he's like, somebody shot me. That's exactly how I thought when my calf,
man.
it tore the soleus. So I was on crutches for about 3 weeks.
Oh, man.
And believe it or not, the local gym here in Santa Maria, when I could, I was on crutches, walking to the weight room, and I'm, at times crawling around, but I could do upper body. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. And some people looked at me like I was crazy, and I looked back and I said, yeah, I kind of was a little crazy. But I like that to keep that, keep my mind strong. If I felt physically strong, and I do what I can. So although I couldn't do lower body at the time, you know what, I'm going to go in there and give whatever I can. I'm going to go for it. So my most recent injury, I'm sprinting on the beach.
Oh, geez.
Trying to show off. and my wife, she called it actually. She's like, you're going to get hurt. And I said, no, I'm sprinting and I can,
So you're out there sprinting like Rocky and Apollo on the beach?
Yes, if you can. That's exactly how it went.
Maybe not with the short shorts and the tank top, but.
The hair flowing. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I'm sprinting as fast as I can. I'm giving a little boot camp class that I have, 6 people, giving them a head start. And I said, I'll catch up to you guys. And as soon as I hit the halfway point, I tore it good. And almost
geez.
where I went down to the ground, but because everyone else was there, I'm like, okay, I can't go down.
You got to walk it off.
I'm going to walk it off. I'm fine. But that was another injury that I most recently had about a month ago.
Whoa.
So, but I'm not going to let it completely stop me. So I did a little bit more upper body focus, and slowly I'm getting back into some lower body. So there's some challenges that you're going to face. You're going to face injury. You're going to face emotional challenges.
Yeah, life happens.
Life happens, big life-changing events. But fitness and exercise has been something that's kept me sane, kept the stability in my life. And I recognized that and felt like, you know what, I need to keep going no matter what. So I made that still a regular part of my routine, despite the challenges that I have overcome.
And that's really good because when I got back into it, probably about 7 or 8 weeks ago, I figured I was going to take a look at the weight that I had left off on the bar and rank that back. Be really cautious about it because anybody getting into it, and I'm pretty sure for new lifters out there, new clients that you come across, injury occurs in those first couple of weeks. Or people who are taking the winter off, they might run into injury that way as well. So when you have somebody who comes up to you who then gets injured, are you able to redesign their program to sort of fit with that? Because you mentioned that you're able to work your upper body if your lower body's struggling, or vice versa.
Absolutely. Modifications or designing programs that are specific to people's needs are important. And that's why they do clients come to a personal trainer, because they want something that is going to be designed for them and be able to work around issues that they're having. And really, I feel like recovery is something that is very important that I didn't really realize at a younger age. You take for granted, you know, your warm-ups is just, it's minimal, and you just jump right in and go for it.
Yeah.
As you progress, you realize the importance of it. As you age a little bit, you realize, hey, recovery is just as important.
I'm there on that. I'm there on that.
It is so important to keep you going, because we want to be exercising and being active, for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to do anything that's going to risk it. Or if you do have a current injury, let's work around it. Let's see how we can strengthen the surrounding muscles and not do anything to aggravate the injury, but let the body heal. And I really have some good people that I work with as far as massage, chiropractic adjustment, ice, all these basics that you take for granted when you're a little bit younger or inexperienced.
Yeah.
They really come to the forefront. And I feel like they're an important key to keep you lifting for the long term, keep you healthy.
That's really good. Now, to get back onto nutrition, you mentioned how you subscribe to magazines and things like that to learn sort of the basics when it comes to lifting weights. Was it the same approach when it came to nutrition, or was it something different? Because I know that there's a lot of television shows on that might, teach you how to cook different meals and things like that. Were those same nutritional lessons found in magazines and books that you were getting?
That's one of the things that I say I'm most proud of is my philosophy or thought process has really changed on nutrition. So I was of the old school, the bro science.
Protein oatmeal and dried chicken breast.
Dried chicken breast and the broccoli, and you have to have 6 meals a day, and you got to carry your ice chest around, including vacation.
Oh, man. I've been there. It's a tough one, too. That's a tough one, too.
And I think there's a time and place for that, for those who are stepping on stage.
Yeah.
You know what? By all means, those who have the willpower and the ability to do that, that is incredible. That's at another level. But for the average person that's trying to get in shape, you don't have to go to those extremes. So I've definitely got certification on nutrition, ISSA. It's the fundamentals.
Yeah.
There's so many places you can go with nutrition. But knowing that at the end of the day, the most important thing in order to reduce your body fat or reduce weight is reduction in calories. So just being in a calorie deficit is the fundamental basics. If we're trying to gain weight, a little bit of a calorie surplus is what we do. And then you have maintenance. And within there's a lot that you can do. So if it fits your lifestyle and your food preferences, then let's go with that. If you don't like the broccoli, the spinach, all that stuff, then don't force yourself to do it. Let's find something you do like.
Yeah.
That's healthy, good choice, and stick with it. People, if your lifestyle is so busy and you can only eat maybe 2 meals a day, just get all your calories within that amount of time.
Yeah.
By all means, go for it. So me in my sessions here, I don't want to eat in front of my clients because it's kind of like self-defeating. They're like, "What are you doing? You're over there eating. We're lifting weights."
Yeah.
So I don't eat. I do intermittent fasting.
Okay.
And a lot of it has to do with my lifestyle. It's just the best for my current schedule right now. And I do the majority of my eating. I do 1 meal at noon, and then the majority when I get home after work. And so I'll get my calories within that shortened window, mostly in the evening.
Yeah.
And so that fits my lifestyle. And so that's what I encourage clients is let's find foods you like and let's incorporate them. And let's see what kind of lifestyle that you live and how many meals that you can fit into your schedule.
Yeah, definitely.
If
Because I've tried that. I've tried that 6 meals a day, and that's another tough one to try to get your meals in and taking that cooler or that frozen or that refrigerated meal to a family function when everybody's
rough.
eating like barbecue chicken and ribs, and I'm over there microwaving my chicken breasts and
Yes.
green beans. So
I've been there, so I encourage people, if it fits your lifestyle, your food preferences, let's do it. And let's stick with it. Let's come up with a calorie, range that works for you. And even to the extent of breaking it down to the macronutrients, how much carbs, fat, and protein, we can do that. But yet I don't want to create somebody who feels like they have to jot everything down to the T, because that might, for the wrong personality, be too much for them. And then they create an imbalance in their life that way, where they're always, so worried and stressed about every little calorie.
Yeah. Fitness and the diet should definitely be something that you can easily work into. That fitness then just becomes something that you do instead of maybe watching TV or doing some other sedentary type activity. It's only an hour of your time, and the meals that you're eating might be, like you said, finding something that fits your lifestyle where you can still have that same meal, that enchilada and that rice, but it's a smaller portion now because you're thinking about a caloric deficit, or you're happy with where you are weight-wise, so you're just finding that neutral ground. And when it comes to finding your I guess, I think the term is metabolic resting rate or something like that, which way do you most recommend people to try? Because there's clearly like a mathematical formula that you can use. There's dunking yourself into a tank of water, which you can do if you're local at Cal Poly. They do that test for you. I've done it myself. It's you got to hold your breath for a long time. I thought I was going to drown, but which way do you recommend people to test their?
I think a good baseline number is knowing your percentage of body fat, like you were saying, through submersion through water, or some of the body fat testers that you can use, the handheld ones. Those get pretty close. There's also the old school method of doing like the pinch test.
Yeah.
I usually just go with the handheld to get your percentage of body fat, and then your activity level, how active you are. Those two things are big factors in knowing how much calories you're going to burn throughout the day. So with those two, you can establish a very basic, calorie baseline, and then you try to tweak it very small, maybe 150 calories, 200 calories in each direction.
Yeah.
Give yourself a week, maybe 2 weeks, see how the body responds, and then you can change it again from there. But I always encourage ones, give it enough time to let your body respond.
Yeah.
I think calories are king. So at the end of the day, if you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose. But then not only is calories king, but the quality of the calories is
Yeah.
queen. So the quality, the food that you're eating, what kind of hormone response is it creating in your body? Because you could be in a calorie deficit on Twinkies and and beer,
Yeah.
but tell you what, you're not going to have the energy for your workouts. You're not going to sleep very well at all. You're not going to have the muscle building foods or the recovery foods.
Yeah, you need that protein.
Yeah, you got to have those good quality calories in order to meet your fitness goals where you want to be. So if you're trying to gain muscle, well, let's make sure that you're getting sufficient amount of protein in the diet. And then everybody's body responds differently. Some people bodies responds nicely with a higher carb because they burn right away. Or if it needs to be a little bit of a lower carb, you have to bump up your fats in the diet to make sure that you're not in such a deficit that you're going to be extremely hungry, but giving the right nutrients to match your goals that you're trying to accomplish when it comes to exercise.
And one of the most challenging things, well, I wouldn't say it was probably the most challenging things you face, but how do you face this challenge of when you come across a person like myself? Clearly, you would say you need to be at a caloric deficit, but how do you approach the gym goer or the new gym goer? Not saying it's all female, but the person who eats really under what they should. And when you do take those pinch measurements or you find out what their caloric needs are, how do you then tell them you need to eat a little bit more to still be in a deficit, but you need to eat more?
Yeah, that is a real challenge. That really is. There's ones that have been, whether that's through social media or through television, infomercials, or magazines, that they've been encouraged to eat such small amounts of food. They're just basically living off of salads or whatever. And that right there is not enough food to function. And so they're at such an extreme calorie deficit that their body is not going to release. And they've caused a lot of released body fat.
Yeah, it's in survival mode.
Yeah, they've caused like some severe metabolic damage that their body is not going to lose weight unless they start to eat a little bit more calories. And so starting with a food journal, having things on paper does help, so that they can see that they need to increase their calories just a little bit more and then see how the body responds. But it's such a tough mental obstacle for ones to get around, because they've been told you just have to keep eating less in order to lose weight. But there's a certain point where the body needs a certain amount of calories just to function your normal everyday activities.
Yeah.
And so if you're in such an extreme deficit and then you're throwing cardio on top of that.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're throwing weightlifting on top of that, it sometimes takes months or even longer for someone to recover from some of the real severe metabolic damage that ones have caused by being in such an extreme low-calorie deficit.
And that's one thing that I learned early on, was that you have to have that perspective that this is definitely dedicating at least a year. You have to dedicate at least a year of your time and know that you might not get anywhere. If you're new to weightlifting, you're going to take that year to develop that mind and muscle connection. You're going to take that time to build that initial muscle. But it's not until year 2 or year 3 that you really start seeing the work and all the progress. Like, you might you'll drop weight or clearly you'll gain muscle, but it's not until you've matured your body. And like you're saying, with that restoring that metabolic damage that may have been done, 6 months to a year is a realistic time frame to build that recovery.
Yeah, it does take some time, and they may have to gain just a little bit of weight to get their system back in alignment. And that could be something that's very emotional for them and a challenge. And being there as their support team through this process. Say, you know what, I'm here for you. We're going to work through this. We're going to take maybe, as you perceive, one step back and maybe gain a little bit of weight in order to get that metabolism going. And then we're going to take 2 steps forward and we're going to progress from there. It's very complicated, each individual person's system. And there's so many variables, how the body responds to certain foods. There's pesticides, chemicals in foods. I mean, there's so many different variables. And sometimes even if the body were eating the same things, healthy foods over and over, the body over a period of time might start responding negatively to just eating the same food, the broccoli and chicken every day. It might stop working for you after a period of time.
You adapt and your body just changes, and you have to sort of, I don't know if the term is like trick it, but maybe if you have a cheat meal, move it from Saturday to Wednesday or something different.
You got to change it up.
Instead of chicken, have some, lean ground turkey. I don't know.
It is so true. The metabolism, and I can't even pretend to act like I know everything about it. It's very complicated, and each person's system is so unique, especially from men to women, and the hormones that women face on a monthly basis. That plays such an important role, and it's complicated, and it can be a little bit discouraging when you see things not moving as fast as you want. But just that reminder that I give ones, we're your support team. We're going to work through this. Here's some things that we can do, very practical. Let's start writing some stuff down. Let's get down to the nuts and bolts of, the numbers, calorie-wise, and long-term, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year. Let's see where you are and how you respond. And there's a lot more, we call them like non-scale victories. How are you sleeping? How's your skin? What's your energy levels? There's so many more positive things that come of it. Eating healthy and making sure that you're meeting your calorie needs. Than just a number on the scale.
Definitely.
We don't want to get caught up so much on that that it's overwhelming or discouraging because every day you're looking at that number. I'm like, don't do that. Only do it as often as we need to, maybe once a week at the most. Anything other than that is just too much.
Yeah, even for myself, on Saturdays, I do my weigh-in to see where I landed after Monday through Friday. And even then, for me, I've been making a steady descent in my weight loss, but I take that minute to 2 minutes before I even step up to mentally prepare myself, knowing that that number might stay the same, that number might be up, it might be down, but I have to know that I still have to stay consistent with what I'm doing. Now, you mentioned writing things down, writing down your eating, writing down, I'm sure you're lifting. What, are you more of a composition book kind of guy, or do you use apps on your phone for that?
I would say more handwriting composition book is something that I gravitate towards. I have a notebook that I use to like a daily planner that keeps everything for me personally. And then with my clients, I have like a folder so we can update their charts. And I usually go body fat and percentage of body fat, their inches, and then the weigh-in. And we can check that maybe every 4 to 6 weeks, depending on how often they want to do it. And then as far as tracking workouts, I like to put down some numbers so you can reference back what you've done. Because I think that's important to know what you lifted 3 months ago compared to now. It's motivating because you want to try to do a little bit more if you can. And then it's nice to have a little bit of programming built in. Because anybody can just make somebody tired, per se. You know, someone's, give me 100 push-ups and 100 burpees, and you're going to be beat and tired. But trying to have some kind of programming built in so that they can make some steady progress. And I really dedicate each week a couple hours on what the workouts will be for that week. And then, having the long-term approach in mind too. There will be a couple weeks of maybe some heavier lifting, some moderate lifting, and then higher rep ranges. in order to cycle the muscles through that so that you can keep progressing. I think that's important to have some kind of programming um, personally with yourself, and I also do that with my clients to make sure that they're not going to maybe just mentally get bored with just doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
But then also, there's a reason why we're going to try to go really heavy on this lift. Next week, we're going to go a little lighter, and then take them through different cycles so that we can keep progressing.
So when you're changing your cycles with your clients, or we can talk about yourself if your workout program is somewhat similar to that, do you focus on the amount of weight lifted? So for example, if you're doing like 3 sets of 10 at a certain weight, but then the next week on that same movement, you're doing a lighter weight, are you essentially lifting the same amount of weight, but you're just doing a higher rep range with a lower weight? Or are you really just dropping the weight and focusing on, say, maybe a time under tension?
Yeah, I would go, let's say, for instance, myself, if we're going to be going in a strength cycle, we'll call it, we'll keep the reps low, let's say between 4 and 6 on a rep range, and we're going to be taking the weight as heavy as you can, safely within that. Within that, safely is important. Making sure you're getting the full range of motion, and making sure that your spotter's not lifting the weight for you.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest lie in the gym is when they say it was all you, all you, and it was like, no, it wasn't all you. But trying to lift in a strength phase, 4 to 6 reps, and doing that, let's say for 3 weeks. Then the next phase would be more of trying to get a muscle pump going between 8 and 12 reps. I would say the weight definitely has to drop. You want to do as much as you can within that rep range, so the weight will naturally be a little bit less. And then the last phase might be a 1 week of just high reps, muscle endurance, get a sweat going in the gym, maybe 15 to 20. So if you cycle through those, you'll continue to progress, and you kind of give your body enough recovery time because it's grueling to do the 4 to 6 rep range. I gravitate towards that naturally because my body, I think, responds good with that. But over time, okay, my elbows are starting to ache.
Yeah.
My knees are telling me, hey, we need to lighten it up a little next week because, the body's feeling it.
Yeah, and I'm on board with you on that one too. And I guess that's something that I may have learned through trial and error, because when I started on a powerlifting program, I was doing a small ob junior, which was 4 weeks, 4 times, not 4 weeks, but 4 times a week, squatting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, doing 6, 5, 3, and then 10 sets of 2 on Saturdays, which was rough because they're heavy sets. Man. And then an Ed Cohen deadlifting program on a Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
Which was a 24-week program, I believe. And when I was done, I needed a break. I could not restart another program like that again. So I think that's really good that you've told your clients and that you're doing that yourself. Recovery and changing it up too.
Yes. I've evolved, my training has evolved because I would do maybe in my early 20s, I would be working out 5 days a week and grinding the heavy weights and having a chest day and an arm day, one specific body part, and just grind it until you could barely move. But as I've gotten older, I realized, hey, maybe a better way would be a total body workout. And there are some supporting science behind doing a total body workout, like, for instance, hitting a squat, hitting a chest press, a row, hitting some auxiliary movements at the end, and some core. And that has enabled me to stay healthy because I'm not really overworking a specific tendon, joint, or muscle, but I'm getting just enough to stimulate each muscle, each workout. So we want to stimulate it, not annihilate the muscle.
Yeah.
And then leave enough for the next workout. And I usually skip a day, go in the next day and hit different movements. Let's say it would be a deadlift, start off with some shoulders, but hit a rowing movement and a pushing movement again. So total body movements have enabled me to stay healthy keep my joints and ligaments feeling good, and then keep progressing. So instead of me just hitting shoulders once a week or chest once a week, now I'm hitting it at 3 times a week,
Yeah.
but just not to the point where I can't move.
Yeah.
But I'm, instead of hitting all, let's say 10 sets on a Monday for chest, now I've broken it up. I'm hitting 3 on Monday. I'm hitting 3 on Wednesday, and then hitting, 4 on Friday. And I'm able to exert just a little bit more effort because I'm fresh each day.
Yeah.
And that has really helped me to see some progress in different body parts that I was neglecting. Specifically, I would say for me, incorporating more shoulders, and then stay healthy and enough where I feel like I got a total body workout, and it feels good to walk away knowing you hit a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And then just leave enough where you want to come back, ready for your next session.
Yeah, and I do have some of those days myself when I'm supposed to be in there for like fasted cardio, but I don't necessarily feel like doing cardio. I'll incorporate a total body workout myself, and it is pretty refreshing to do that. But I'm curious as to what it is that you have to say to any of the listeners out there that might be on the cardio machine right now or thinking about getting involved in health and fitness. We've sort of learned a little bit about you, but what is it as a trainer you would say to individuals out there listening in right now?
I really think fitness is a lifestyle. It's important to be balanced in all aspects of your life. And fitness and exercise is an important part. It's not the only thing. It's an important part of my life, but I also enjoy time with good friends. I have other aspects of my life that are just as important. My spirituality, keeping strong mentally, emotionally, and physically. That's when you're balanced. And everything in alignment is when you're going to feel the best. And so incorporating fitness, but not to a point where it's all-encompassing or too extreme. And just enjoy the process of learning how your body responds to different foods, testing it out, exercising, and enjoying the movements. It's not a punishment for bad stuff that you've eaten or what you're going to have.
Yeah.
But and celebrate what your body can do and the exercises, and really feel privileged to be able to wake up and have movement in the body, because not everybody has that. There's little things we take for granted every day, but I'm thankful that I'm able to be relatively healthy, see my loved ones, and help them. And that's really what it's all about, is adding value to somebody else's life and bringing them along. So I don't want to just finish, be first on the finish line on race day. I want to say, you know what? Let me help as many people as I can in this fitness journey to help them sort through all the confusing stuff. Let me help you. Let me be part of your support team, be that encouragement that you need. Try to be that 1 hour of bright spot in their day, and make it fun, make it enjoyable. Smile when you're in the gym, because we're all in this together. We're all working hard. We all have our goals and our setbacks and challenges, and just really enjoy it and help as many people as I can along the way.
I like that. And for any of the local people listening, what does Griffin Fitness have in store or sort of available to any of the locals right now? You mentioned a boot camp out on the beach.
We've done boot camps. That one was a private one. So if you're interested in a boot camp and you just want to have some of your friends, we can do that. We do, myself and I have 2 other trainers that are here. We're here to help you out. We also are possibly looking at some food options, partnering up with somebody else as far as meal prepping. So that's something I think is maybe a couple months down the line that we have on our agenda. And then also special niches that might be out there that we can tap into. I know that there's a lot of there's pregnant women that are interested in exercising, and I'd like to, see if that's a niche that we can start to incorporate.
Did you have something like that not that long ago, or was that just an all-woman boot camp that I saw on social media?
It was probably just an all-woman
Okay.
boot camp. We have done some nutritional seminars. I've hosted them here. I've also gone to the school district a couple times and just talked the basics and fundamentals of nutrition. That's something that I really enjoy, is being able to, speak to ones in a public setting like that. And so I will continue to do that. And then, we'll just take it, take it from there. The fitness industry is something that I really love, and we'll keep going in this direction and see how long, it takes me down the road. We'll see if, maybe public speaking or motivational speaking, that's something that interests me. So
Yeah.
that might be something years from now. Who knows?
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you again, and remind people again where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, Griffin Fitness _SM, and take a look. And we'd love for anybody to come through. If you want to just stop in and check out the studio, our doors are open. We're here Monday through Friday, mainly by appointment. And so if anyone needs to get a hold of me, a text or a phone call is, I respond right away. Also have a Facebook page that they can access to that we're available.
Awesome. And I want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen to this podcast. If you're watching us on live, thank you for tuning in on Instagram. You can find me at Ramon_Campamore. That is CAMPOAMOR, because I got to spell it, because a lot of people, they can't really spell it by sounding it out. But thank you again.
Thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity to be able to speak.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.